it's kind of shaded there. But I just cut basically two pieces of gray birch tree to 32 inches. And then I have a 36-inch piece of plywood. And we're going in to make a little shelf slash table for the gas grill to go on by the window. So I'm going to go and get that all screwed together, and then I'll bring you guys back to show you what it looks like. Alright, that's what we're looking at. So then you can get good ventilation out the window, so you don't have to worry about carbon monoxide poisoning. Cooler fits under there perfect, and during the summer I keep the cooler in here because it stays cooler in here than it is outside most of the time. Sometimes I'll move it out at night if it's warm in here at night and it cools down out there quicker. Just try to keep the ice as long as possible. Getting about 10 days out of ice out of that, out of one block in 2 bags. And then I can go 14 days by just adding one more block broken up. So, I don't know, it's less than $20. Probably $15 to $20 a month on ice, which isn't bad. That leg is a little bit short, so it's not really touching the ground completely. So I don't know, maybe I'll just switch the legs around and that'll fix it. But I'm not sure. I guess I'll try that first, but I might need to go get another leg and cut it. And then I'm going to cook some soup on that thing. Well, it's June 12th. I don't know if you can see in there. It looks like pretty much all the eggs hatched. And they're gone. So, I don't know, I guess I can get in there and look a little bit closer at them and see if they all hatched or not. But it looks like from here, it looks like pretty much all of them hatched. I don't see any whole ones. Let me take a look, but that's awesome. Bunch of grouse running around. Over at my tomato plants. Cherry tomato, Roma. But look at that. That is a grouse egg. It looked like 10 hatched out of the 11. And this one was still left in the middle of the nest, unhatched. And it's not warm anymore, so it's likely not doing anything anymore. And she's definitely long gone. Once the chicks hatch, they stay with the mother and they just keep on the move looking for bugs and whatever they can get. They just like move around. I mean, I could keep checking, but I don't think she'll ever come back to that nest. I think as soon as they hatch, they start moving. So that's cool. Should be some grouse, but I'm interested to see what this egg is all about. I think I want to crack it open. I'm interested to see if it's just an old spoiled egg or if it's like a partially made bird in there or what the deal is. I was kind of hoping it was going to be warm and maybe it would still be alive, and I could see if it would hatch and do its thing. But it's cold now, so I don't think it's going to do anything. But if I open it up, I'll bring you guys back to see what's inside of it. But yeah, it might be pretty gross. I don't know. Well, I opened her up. It was just egg inside. So I don't know. That one must not have gotten fertilized or something. I don't know why that would be. I'm not sure how grouse eggs get fertilized. I think they're already fertilized when she gives birth to them, but maybe not. But that one didn't have anything but egg in it. Probably was good. I mean, they probably stay good for a while, just like real eggs. Doesn't smell bad, so it's probably still good, but yeah, it's interesting. I put it in this compost pile so I can just bury it over. But no baby bird in there, so that's good, I guess. Look at that guy. Snake. He likes hiding under the solar panel during the day because it gets really warm. I almost grabbed him earlier when I went to unplug a wire that I had plugged into it. I almost grabbed him thinking he was the wire. I don't know why he's got his head up like that. He must be hoping for some sort of snack. This is a gardener snake. He's pretty big though. Here I come, little buddy. You can't hide under there anymore. I'm coming to take it. There he is right there. I'm not gonna hurt you. You've been through this. I don't want to hurt you. You're pretty colors though, that's for sure. I gotta grab this solar panel and get this power inside so I can get the laptop running. See you, little snake. Rescue from the greenhouse this morning. Look at this little guy. He's stuck in there. Needed to be freed. Now he's just conserving his energy. I don't know if he realizes he's outside of the greenhouse yet. Pretty little guy. Alright, be free. I'm gonna go set him somewhere. Oh, got a snake in the cabin. I don't know how the heck he got in. But if he can get in, it means probably other stuff can get in. He didn't get in at the doorway, so I'm not sure where he got in from. I gotta go try to gather it up and bring it out. I was trying to figure out how that snake got in the cabin, but I don't find any holes, and the opening in the door is not big enough for a snake to get through. There's no way. It's just like a teeny little slit. Sometimes mosquitoes get through there, but I think they hide underneath the solar panel when I set that up for charging when it's sunny out. And yesterday when I went to get the solar panel, there were 2 snakes under there. But I think that one of them was in the front zip pocket of the panel, and I think it spent the whole night in that zip pocket, and it was just coming out right now. So yeah, I definitely got to check that. I guess when I charge stuff, I'll zip that pocket up to make sure it's nice and closed so they can't get in there. Yesterday I almost grabbed one. I went to unplug my cordless drill charger from the battery pack. It was hooked up underneath the solar panel, and I almost grabbed a snake. Luckily the snakes aren't poisonous out here because there's a lot of them, a lot more than I ever thought there would be. They were in the car too. There's a lot of snakes out here, but some of them are big enough that they are eating mice, which is good because we don't want mice out here. I'm trying to get the rest of the mice that crawled into the squirrel cage on my blower system in the car. I'm trying to get them all out of there and get them killed in some mouse traps so I can clean that up. But yeah, I think that's where the snake was. I can't find any holes anywhere. I thought maybe a mouse made a hole into the cabin so it could come in here to get food, and that's how the snake got in here. But I think that the snake was in the front pouch on the solar panel, so I'll just have to check that from now on. I got it outside though, released it in the garden. You can't see him through the screen there. A little chipmunk collecting maple seeds. His cheeks are so big. He's got like piles and piles of maple leaves in there. Not maple leaves, maple seeds. Like the little whirlybird seeds that come down. They bite the seed off of it and get rid of the whirlybird. He's got his whole cheeks completely full to the max, and he's still trying to look for them. Collecting for the winter. Nice day out there. Gotta go water that garden. Alright, we're in the woods. It's really buggy. I'm poking around with the shovel, and this was basically what I figured was the most likely path for the seep that we're getting our water from. I figured it was going to be a lot deeper, but I did see that the ground was kind of wet out here, and we haven't had rain in a while. So I figured that the stream or the underground spring or seep or whatever you want to call it must be going through my highland right here, and then coming out on the other side of this hill here, where we're collecting water now. But I've been digging here, and I do have flowing water into the hole, but I've hit I've hit this layer that's just like rock solid stuff. It's not granite, but it's like really compacted riverbed, I think. So that's probably why the spring is flowing like this. But this might just be seepage of the water just around here. So I'm gonna keep digging as much as I can, and we'll see if the hole fills up and stays full. But it's been really dry this year, so all this water might just be what's in the surrounding dirt, and it might not last. It might fill up, but then, you know, in the next couple weeks as it gets drier, it might just dry up to a point where I can't dig deep enough to get it. But this is a lot closer, like right through the bushes there is the garden, so if we could get this water going a little bit closer to the vegetable garden, we got a lot less water to haul. Make this big enough to put a 50-gallon drum in. Try and do that right now. Alright, so there is like 25 gallons of water in there. It's kind of caving in where the water's coming from, but it's really hard on the bottom. So I don't know, maybe now that it's full it might have loosened up on the bottom. I might be able to get some more dirt out of there. But I might, that's maybe as deep as it's gonna get, but it is like an extra 20 gallons of water. So I'm gonna put a bin over that and then fill it back in. And then the 55-gallon bin should at least have like 20 or 30 gallons of water at the bottom of it all the time. And then we'll have access to water that's a little closer to things. Yeah, the dragonfly is really on this guy. He does not like him. He looks effed up. This other one will come and attack him again probably. Well, June 20th, first day of summer, 2020. Excuse me. The garden is doing pretty good, but we are going into a pretty serious drought here. It's only rained once since the snow stopped. And yeah, luckily the well, the spring that's feeding the well is still running pretty good. So we're hoping, fingers crossed, that doesn't dry up on us. But all that lettuce is doing really good. The kale's doing really good. The cauliflower and the cabbages is starting to take off. Some tomatoes in the back that are doing really nice. I gotta get a cage, or I gotta like set that cage up, or build a cage around those tomatoes pretty soon here, because they're getting to a point where they're gonna start putting on their first run. And then the squash are producing squash, but those plants haven't grown much because it hasn't rained at all since I've planted them. And they really need 3 or 4 good days of hard rain, and then they'll swell up and put much bigger leaves on, but the leaves aren't even big enough that it's covering the ground. So, you know, once those leaves are covering the ground, it'll retain water a little bit better, but right now the sun's hitting that ground, and those things are not doing so hot. The pumpkins aren't doing so bad, but the hugelkultur bed here stays a lot wetter than this flat bed right now. Last year it was the reverse, but now that this has had a winter to sit and all the wood underneath it broke down and is retaining moisture, now the hugelkultur garden is doing what it was supposed to do, which is retain moisture and kind of, you know, it's built up above the ground, so it has like a really thick layer there to hold moisture in. This one was holding in moisture really good last year, but that was also because these wood chips were fresh, and last year we got a lot of rain, and we even got quite a bit of rain even up until now, and these chips were holding moisture and doing what they're supposed to do. But once chips are exposed to a drought like it is right now, and I don't have enough water, I'm hauling like probably 30 to 40 gallons of water up to this garden, and then I have another garden I have to do 40 gallons to, and basically 100 gallons a day. So I have camp water and all my gardens watered, which I do that with 5-gallon buckets, and the water is pretty far away. So I'm trying to keep this as wet as I can, but I can't possibly get all the surface and keep all these chips wet. So now that these chips have been dry for so long, they've become hydrophobic, which hydrophobic means they're just so dry that you really have to soak them for like a while before they'll take in the moisture right. And when they become hydrophobic, they actually do the opposite. They'll start drawing moisture out of the garden. So we really need a couple days of good hard rain. If I had like 3 days of rainy weather, everything would jump back, and the chips would not become would become hydrated again, and they wouldn't be hydrophobic, and that would help a lot. Because right now I'm having to spot water all these plants throughout the day just to keep them alive. That lettuce, that Grand Rapids lettuce though, is doing great. Everywhere I've planted that stuff is just blowing up. So next year I'm going to do a lot of those, and maybe I'll try to do some of that for market next year. That and the kale. People seem to buy nice lettuce heads and kale pretty easily. So I'll just grow a crap load of that, and that doesn't take a lot of water, and you get a harvest really early in the season. You know, by June all those are done. And then you can like bring that to market, make a little extra money, and then in fall you have all your fall vegetables that you can bring to market. These potatoes are about a week away from flowering, so that means there are baby reds under there. Once the first flowers come up, we'll dig one of them up and eat some of the baby red potatoes, but then the rest of them we're gonna let go, and we'll harvest them in fall when there's like a big batch of potatoes, so we can get a way out. I don't know if you can see that right there. That's a mama grouse with the babies. Uh-oh, they see me. See her? That's a baby, that's mama. There's a bunch of more babies in the bushes. Mama's looking at me crazy. I can't tell if that's a rough grouse or if it's a spruce grouse. I'm pretty sure that's the rough grouse that was sitting on the eggs up by the greenhouse. Beautiful bird. Look at this little baby. Oh, he's just learning how to fly. Trying to get away from me. Mama's in the bush right here calling him. I'll leave him alone, but he is so darn cute. Mama's over there calling him. Cutest little thing. I think those are actually spruce grouse. So they're supposed to be endangered, but I got a lot of them on my property. Look at this beautiful bird. This is a spruce grouse though. Tell by the red mark in the eye, and then its back tail feathers look different. There'll be a bunch of spruces out here. Which is, you gotta try not to shoot these in the fall when you're hunting rough grouse. Oh, that's a beautiful little bird right there though. Look, there's baby right there. Baby in the tree. And mama, and there's a couple in the tree next to him. Interesting sound. Alright, I'll leave you guys alone. This guy loves the tarp. Gardener snake. Eats grasshoppers and slugs and other things that I don't like. So I make sure not to crush him every day with the tarp. Haven't given him a name yet. I gotta come up with something. This guy's been in here the last couple days too. This guy's a lot bigger. This guy's like, whoa, he took off quick. But that guy's like 3 times the size of the other snake. Non-poisonous. in the greenhouse. That's a good place for him for the night. That big guy's probably big enough he even eats mice and stuff, so good to have him living right here at the greenhouse. Keep everything safe and sound. Sun's going down. Light depth pulled. On my way to town. This is the brook next to my property. There's a beaver chilling in there. Water's getting low though, hasn't rained. It rained last night for like 5 minutes. And that was the first time it's rained in 14 days, which is a long time for Maine. Man, look at the size of that beaver. Thing's huge. And the guys took 12 beavers out of here when trapping this spring. Still plenty of them in here. You never get them all. There's so many beaver down here. He doesn't even care we're over here. He's just chilling, enjoying life. Nice brook though, huh? There's the road frontage. This guy's gonna go right underneath us. Sweet. Alright, heading to town. Oh yeah, I made the deal on Brownfield. I'm heading to town to send the sales agreement to the guy who is buying the property in Brownfield. And I got exactly what I was looking to get on the property. I mean, it was the low end, but it's what I figured I was probably gonna end up getting on the property, so I'm pretty psyched. There goes that beaver. See you, beaver. Oh, he just flew away over in the tree over there. There's a robin that works this section of land here, and he was just over here picking all the bugs out of the garden, which is awesome. Yeah, out here in the woods like this, there's a lot of freaking bugs. You know, you can imagine. There's a lot of bugs. But there's a whole chain of animals too that eat those bugs. And there's still more bugs than there are animals to eat them. But I think that's kind of how it goes, you know? For there to be a balance so all the birds have enough food every year. It's pretty interesting. But I was thinking, like, I never see ticks, and it's because these birds are getting them. But when I see the rabbits will usually have 1 or 2 ticks in their ears, all swollen up, like ready to fall off, like a full tick. So there's got to be ticks on my land because the rabbits don't travel very far. They stay right here in this area. But all the walking, been a 1.5 years now, I walk out in the woods. I never put bug spray on my legs out here. I did the first couple weeks when I got here, but I've never had a tick on me. So knock on wood of the cabin. But I think that's mainly because these animals are working the land, especially all the open places where I would walk. The animals and the birds are in there just crushing it, like eating every bug they come across all the time. I mean, right here, just in the side yard here, there are like dozens of birds doing their thing. And a chipmunk. Yeah, we got some rain here, but for the most part we haven't had any rain. We've only had 1 heavy rain since the snow melted, and that was only heavy enough to fill the barrels halfway. And since then we've had like 3 light sprinkles, and today we're having a light sprinkle here and there. But the skies are blue in that direction, but they're gray in that direction. So hopefully we get some rain today. We need some real rain. And I'm still dealing with these rodents getting into my car. Now that the scent trail is in there, every time I kill these damn mice that are getting into the car, more just come in there. So I'm gonna deal with that today too. Well, it's June 27th. Got the grass whip out, trying to control this. I was supposed to pull the camera out before I started to show you and take a picture. But these daisies have come up. So that's why I didn't cut this back here, because I wanted the daisies to come up. It looks so nice, a little trail with daisies all around it. An outhouse. I'm gonna take a picture of it before I cut them all down. But in the next couple days they're gonna start dying. And I'll leave a couple here and there to put some seed down. But there's so much of these, like there's probably enough seed. I'm trying to cut up some of this firewood so it can be nice and seasoned, but look at this. There's like a whole crew of snakes hanging out under here. 1, 2. There's one climbing away and one over there. I see 4 right now. Probably is even more. This guy's used to me though. I've been poking around him for about an hour now. I get some more wood out there without killing him. It's like a giant snake orgy under here. There's like 7 of them under here right now. Even the big ones under here. They're all coiled up together. Hopefully they're taking care of any mice problem I might have. You guys are crazy. Look at this sick road I have on my property. Like my cabin's down there. And my vegetable garden's right here. But this road is like one of the sickest parts of the property. Got my greenhouse and my little dry shack. Canvas tent on the platform. About 1 million mosquitoes humming around my head. Just because it's rainy today. There's a lot of mosquitoes. Here's my little vegetable garden, or at least one of my vegetable gardens. Those are all potatoes, which have flowers on them, so you start harvesting those soon. And then squash and lettuce, kale, all kinds of stuff. Green beans and tomatoes. Wood chips down on the ground. Well, January 30th, I'm moving water from the 2 bins on the cabin into this middle bin, just in case we get more. I probably got about... Somehow these things fill up at about the same rate, these 2 bins, even though that one's way lower. But I probably got like 30 gallons in each bin, 25 to 30 gallons. So I'm moving them out of these bins into this 50 gallon, and then hopefully we'll get a little more. For every 50 gallons that I have down here, I can get like 5 days of hot weather, of watering this garden in hot weather. So the rain we got last night really helped. Things are really looking like they're a lot happier, and the corn is all growing pretty fast now. And these are some pole beans that I gotta put a trellis down, because those are gonna start growing up into that fence, and if I put a trellis down it will really have somewhere to go. So yeah, just moving water, but we're glad to get some rain. Hopefully we get it every once in a while now for the rest of the summer, because I don't know what was going on, but we had a spell there. It's not good. In Maine, you definitely don't want to be dealing with drought. You already have to deal with long, horrible winters, which I actually like the winters up here now, but sometimes they're really cold and rough. So we'll see how this year goes. Last year was really mild. I gotta finish moving this water. I hear the chipmunk under here. Pretty surprising, the chipmunk hangs out with this snake pile. But 2 snakes already dropped off of it. Little ones. Now, there's at least 5 or 6 snakes here laying on this log every time I come here. So I feel bad because I gotta start cutting this wood up. But these snakes obviously really like it here. But look at those things. Just a pile of them. You hear that? Hear that sound? Oh, there's one in the background there. Trying to get away. But these ones are used to me checking on them now. I check on them a couple times a day. And there's always snakes here. I hear the chipmunk. The chipmunk hangs out in this wood pile too. with the snakes, which is pretty crazy. Obviously the snakes don't eat the chipmunk. He's not worried about it at all. Definitely some snakes there always. This beautiful cabin. American flag. Trees are green. July 1st today. Been quite a crazy summer, 2020. Man, riots, autonomous zones, pandemic, everything you could think of in one year. July 2nd, and the world's falling apart, but my garden's doing pretty damn good. Look at that lettuce. That Grand Rapids lettuce is just crazy. You can't even eat it as fast as it grows. Same thing with the kale. Everything else is doing pretty freaking good though. All these squashes blowing up. The cherry tomatoes are putting on little green tomatoes. And look at this beautiful thing right here. Look at that flower. Isn't that cool? That is a red Pontiac potato flower. And that flower means under the ground there are potatoes that are harvestable. They'll probably only be those little fingerlings, or like the really small potatoes. But this is about the time of year when those flowers show up. That's the time of year when you can start harvesting potatoes. If you harvest them now, you're not going to get very many, but you're going to get really small, really smooth, delicious ones, which I do like eating those small preemie ones roasted. So I'll harvest a couple of these plants right now, and then I'll pretty much harvest it one plant at a time for the rest of the year this year. I don't really care about a final way out. Last year I lost a bunch of potatoes because I waited until the end of the year to harvest them, and then I had too many potatoes and I couldn't keep them good long enough. So I'm gonna harvest these as they're going. I'll probably take the first one tomorrow. And it's July 2nd, so 2 days away from Independence Day. Heard the neighbors shooting guns last night, like almost 10 o'clock. But I think they come up from the city for the holiday. And as soon as they get up here, they want to shoot their guns, even if it's dark already. Kind of weird, kind of crazy, but whatever. It's America, it's freedom. And I'd rather hear gunshots at random times at night than us all lose our rights to own guns. So, you know, just let people do what they're gonna do as long as they're not hurting anybody. Man, this garden's looking great. Well, still July 2nd. Just harvested my first cucumber of the year from that plant. The stuff on it is sulfur. I sprayed sulfur last night. Before everything really starts fruiting, I usually spray sulfur pretty hard on the tomatoes and the cucumbers. It washes right off the cucumbers and it's not dangerous. I mean, maybe if you ingested it in a large amount it would be, but you just rinse it right off, it comes off completely and food's fine. And then once the tomatoes start coming on, I'll stop spraying it so the tomatoes don't have so much of it on it. These tomatoes in these 35-gallon bags are doing great this year. This whole trellis will be full in another like 2.5 weeks. We'll have tomatoes just coming off constantly. Just out here on July 4th. Happy Independence Day, everybody. In here in the garden trying to give it some water because it's kind of hot today. And it rained only a couple days ago, but I'm trying to just stay on top of it and keep this thing wet. It's interesting, on the property, so many things that grew last year didn't end up coming up because it's been a drought year and there's a lot less rain. But different plants that didn't grow last year are growing this year. It's pretty weird. Like, depending on how much water you get, different things will come up. The grass and the daisies and the trees are the only things that came up that are the same from last year. Everything else is like different than what came up last year. But last year it was really wet spring. So, But this garden here doesn't really have enough nutrients. So I put bat guano on it, but next year I think we're gonna have to till up all this stuff and put like 10 bags of manure and then a whole bag of bat guano and then like 10 bags of worm castings, and then till that one more time, and then we'll cover it all in wood chips. So I need a bigger wood chipper. By next year I gotta sell this wood chipper I have and get like a 6-inch self-feeding wood chipper, one that you haul behind a truck, and I'll just have it set here on the property somewhere, because a lot of this stuff that you see in the background, a lot of these trees, this is my field, so I'm gonna have to cut these down and pull them up with the tractor and then throw them all through the chipper, start making all this biomass around me into compost and into usable stuff, and then free up some of this field so I can have a feed plot and some other larger scale agricultural gardens. 4th of July, beautiful day here in Maine, and get back to working on the garden. Oh, I was gonna say it's really dark, but flash is on. So there's 4th of July Independence Day dinner. Pork loin and green beans. And look, I even have company for dinner tonight. Spot the rabbit. There's a little spot on his back. Although it's pretty much gone away now. But that's Spot alright. He's used to me. He hangs out by the cabin, but he ate the tops off of the carrots because I left them on the ground yesterday. Took them off the porch for the night on accident, left them on the ground. He came and ate the tops off of all of them. But he just hopped up and started eating, so guess we're having dinner together tonight. Happy Independence Day, little Spot. Oh yeah, I've been out here for a while. So it's July, and I got out here, this trip I got out here on February 28th. So I've been out here for a few months now. We're doing alright though, huh, Spot? Spot loves it. Fresh grass all day for him. Well, these are the carrots that the bunny got into, or the rabbit got into last night. Yeah, I mean, like 1 second he ate like half of them, and then I went back in and looked out the window and he had eaten the rest of them. Just the tops off of them, so I'm pulling the carrots up, but look at that thing. Definitely, if it went another month it would have been a lot bigger, but these ones were planted really close and intertwined with each other. So this is what you get for carrots. They would have still gotten a lot bigger, but they would have been really deformed because I planted them too close. But this is how I like them. I plant them really close, and then I pick them like a month later than this when they're about twice this size. And then you roast them like that. You cut off the ends and roast them all small and nice. That's how I like them. It's a male grouse on the driveway. How close he'll let us get. It looks like a freaking chicken. Like, looks like the chicken of the woods. He's kind of used to me. This one lives right next to camp. I hear him drumming all day. I was hoping I could get him drumming, but he noticed me. Oh, I'm shaking it, sorry. Out here collecting water. Cleared this area out a little bit. It's been raining. Pretty hard to see it actually. Pretty hard to see it, but that right there is, I think, a fox print. It went through the sand trap after it rained last night. So it went through there. I went towards the water hole, And that was probably within the last couple hours. It's rained again since last night too, just like 20 minutes ago. And it's been rained on since then. So sometime this morning. I never see foxes out here. But getting this place cleared out here slowly. There's a lot of highland over here that's all overgrown, so I'm gonna open this up and have a space here to do a shooting range. Well, just passed out in the chair after eating some early dinner. Heard something chewing over here. See that guy? It's a chipmunk. I saw something chewing over here. Oh, here comes a bunny too. Like Animal Planet. Oh, the chipmunk just screamed at the bunny. I heard him chewing over here and I thought there was a mouse in the cabin. I was looking all over the place and then I looked out the window and the chipmunk was sitting there chewing on something. Oh, July 8th. Rainy, crappy day today, but the garden is happy to get the rain. We're getting enough rain now that the bins are full on days that I don't have rain. And then by the time those are starting to drain, we're getting rain and getting some of those bins filled and the garden watered. So the vegetable garden's pretty much all set. Only hauling water to it a couple times a week and still hauling about 40 gallons a day, or 30 gallons a day to 40 gallons a day to the greenhouses. I could get myself put together and head up there and check on things. Grouse in the driveway. Male grouse in the driveway in the morning. Mosquito though on my forehead. Oh, there he is displaying. It's midsummer, so I'm not sure why he's displaying. But this guy is like the rooster of my yard. He hangs out displaying and drumming all day long. He'll just stand there for like an hour. It's kind of cool last night, so seems like he's getting some sun, but it's going to be really hot, so I don't know why he wants to get all warmed up this morning. Pretty bird though, that's for sure. Real pretty.